The carpenter who searched for the perfect tree. Long ago, nestled between mist-covered mountains and an ancient forest, there lived an old carpenter whose work was admired throughout the kingdom. People traveled from distant villages to buy his tables, chairs, and carved statues. Every piece he created seemed to possess a life of its own. One autumn morning, a young apprentice approached the carpenter and asked, "Master, how did you discover your purpose? How did you know you were meant to become a carpenter?" The old man smiled but did not answer. Instead, he handed the apprentice a small axe and pointed toward the forest. "Go," he said. "Find the perfect tree." The apprentice eagerly entered the woods. He found a tall oak, but one branch had been broken by a storm. "This one isn't perfect," he thought. Further along, he discovered a beautiful maple, but its trunk curved slightly toward the river. "This one isn't perfect either." Days turned into weeks. Weeks became months. The apprentice wandered deeper into the forest. Every tree had something he considered a flaw. Some were too tall. Some too short. Some too old. Some too young. Years passed. His axe became dull. His clothes faded. His hope slowly disappeared. Finally, tired and discouraged, he returned to the carpenter carrying nothing at all. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I searched everywhere, but I never found the perfect tree." The old carpenter looked kindly at him and said, "My child, that was never your task." The apprentice looked confused. The purpose was never to find the perfect tree. It was to discover that every tree becomes beautiful in the hands of someone willing to shape it with patience, love, and purpose. The old carpenter gently placed his weathered hand upon the apprentice's shoulder. The world spends its life searching for the perfect opportunity, the perfect career, the perfect moment, or the perfect calling. But purpose is rarely found that way. It is built. It grows. It is shaped by the choices we make every single day. The apprentice stood silently. For the first time, he understood. The greatest masterpiece had never been hidden inside the forest. It had always been waiting inside him. The carpenter who searched for the perfect tree. Long ago, nestled between mist-covered mountains and an ancient forest, there lived an old carpenter whose work was admired throughout the kingdom. People traveled from distant villages to buy his tables, chairs, and carved statues. Every piece he created seemed to possess a life of its own. One autumn morning, a young apprentice approached the carpenter and asked, "Master, how did you discover your purpose? How did you know you were meant to become a carpenter?" The old man smiled but did not answer. Instead, he handed the apprentice a small axe and pointed toward the forest. "Go," he said. "Find the perfect tree." The apprentice eagerly entered the woods. He found a tall oak, but one branch had been broken by a storm. "This one isn't perfect," he thought. Further along, he discovered a beautiful maple, but its trunk curved slightly toward the river. "This one isn't perfect either." Days turned into weeks. Weeks became months. The apprentice wandered deeper into the forest. Every tree had something he considered a flaw. Some were too tall. Some too short. Some too old. Some too young. Years passed. His axe became dull. His clothes faded. His hope slowly disappeared. Finally, tired and discouraged, he returned to the carpenter carrying nothing at all. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I searched everywhere, but I never found the perfect tree." The old carpenter looked kindly at him and said, "My child, that was never your task." The apprentice looked confused. The purpose was never to find the perfect tree. It was to discover that every tree becomes beautiful in the hands of someone willing to shape it with patience, love, and purpose. The old carpenter gently placed his weathered hand upon the apprentice's shoulder. The world spends its life searching for the perfect opportunity, the perfect career, the perfect moment, or the perfect calling. But purpose is rarely found that way. It is built. It grows. It is shaped by the choices we make every single day. The apprentice stood silently. For the first time, he understood. The greatest masterpiece had never been hidden inside the forest. It had always been waiting inside him. The journey begins. How many years have we spent searching for the perfect life? The perfect career. The perfect relationship. The perfect opportunity. The perfect moment to begin. Perhaps you've asked yourself, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What was I meant to do with my life? These questions have echoed through human history for thousands of years. Kings have asked them. Monks have asked them. Artists. Scientists. Teachers. Parents. Students. Nearly every person, at some point, quietly wonders whether their life has a deeper meaning. Welcome back to Mindful Moments, discovering inner peace and wisdom. Today, we begin one of the most meaningful journeys of all. Not the search for success. Not the search for wealth. Not even the search for happiness. Today, we begin the search for purpose. But before we continue, I want you to consider a possibility that may change the way you see your entire life. What if purpose isn't something you find? What if purpose is something you uncover? Imagine holding an ancient treasure map. Most people would immediately begin searching for the X that marks the treasure. But imagine discovering that the treasure was never buried at the end of the map. Instead, the treasure was hidden within the traveler all along. The map existed only to help them discover who they would become during the journey. Life is much the same. Many people believe purpose is a destination. A job title. A business. A single achievement. But purpose is much deeper than what you do. Purpose is why you do it. There are people who earn millions yet wake each morning feeling empty. And there are others with very little who go to bed each night filled with quiet contentment because they know their lives matter. The difference is not always found in circumstances. It is often found in meaning. The Buddha taught that a meaningful life grows from right intention, compassion, wisdom, and mindful action. Purpose is not measured by applause. It is measured by the good we bring into the lives of others. Imagine two candles in a dark room. One candle burns only for itself. The other lights hundreds of candles around it. Neither candle loses its own flame. Yet one fills the entire room with light. Purpose works the same way. It grows when our gifts begin serving something greater than ourselves. Perhaps you have spent years believing your purpose had to be extraordinary. Perhaps you've imagined it would arrive like lightning from the sky. A dramatic moment. A sudden revelation. But nature teaches us something very different. The tallest oak tree once existed as a tiny acorn. The mighty river begins as a small spring hidden beneath the earth. Even the brightest sunrise begins with the faintest hint of light on the horizon. Purpose often begins quietly. With one kind decision. One act of courage. One opportunity to help. One lesson learned. One mindful moment. The old carpenter understood something that many of us spend years trying to learn. Purpose is not hidden somewhere in the distance. It is revealed through the way we live each day. Now the question becomes, how do we uncover it? The answer is simpler than most people imagine. Not easy, but simple. Purpose grows through small choices that slowly shape the person we become. Let us explore 7 timeless practices that can help you discover the life you were meant to live. The first practice. Listen to what brings your soul alive. There are moments in life when time seems to disappear. Perhaps you are writing, teaching, gardening, creating music, helping another person, walking through nature, building something with your hands. Hours pass, yet it feels like only minutes. These moments are clues. The world often asks, what job do you want? Your heart asks, what kind of life makes me feel fully alive? There is a difference. Purpose is not always about your profession. It is about your contribution. Ask yourself, when do I feel most like myself? Do not ignore the answer simply because it seems ordinary. Many extraordinary lives begin with ordinary passions. The second practice, stop comparing your journey. Imagine standing in a beautiful forest. Around you are towering pine trees. Nearby stands a graceful willow. Wildflowers bloom beneath them. The pine never tries to become the willow. The willow never envies the flowers. Each grows according to its own design. Yet people spend years comparing their journey to someone else's. My friend is already successful. They found their purpose before I did. I'm falling behind. But behind according to whom? Life is not a race. There is no universal timeline. Some discover their calling at 18. Others at 40. Some after retirement. Some only after experiencing great loss. Every path unfolds in its own season. Trust yours. The third practice, let curiosity become your compass. Many people wait until they feel certain before taking action. But certainty rarely comes first. Curiosity does. Imagine trying to explore a cave while refusing to take the first step until you can see the entire cave. You would never move. Purpose reveals itself through exploration. Read the book. Take the class. Learn the instrument. Volunteer. Travel. Start the small project. Have the conversation. Every experience teaches you something about yourself. Purpose is discovered through participation, not perfection. The fourth practice, turn your wounds into wisdom. One day, a traveler visited an old potter famous for creating beautiful bowls. He noticed that one bowl had a long crack running across its side. "Why didn't you throw this one away?" the traveler asked. The potter smiled. "Come with me." He filled the cracked bowl with water and carried it through his garden. As they walked, water slowly dripped through the crack. Along the path, colorful flowers bloomed. The traveler looked with surprise. The bowl watered the seeds. The potter nodded. Sometimes what appears broken becomes the source of unexpected beauty. How often do we believe our struggles disqualify us from living meaningful lives? Yet many people discover their deepest purpose through their greatest pain. Someone who overcomes addiction helps others find recovery. Someone who survives grief comforts those who mourn. Someone who struggles with anxiety becomes a compassionate guide for others. Your wounds may become the place where compassion grows. Do not despise your difficult seasons. They may be preparing you to become exactly the person someone else needs. The fifth practice, serve something greater than yourself. There is a quiet joy that comes from helping another human being. Not because you expect praise. Not because you hope for recognition. But because kindness has a way of filling the heart. Imagine two wells. One collects water but never shares it. Eventually, the water becomes stagnant. The second well continually gives water to everyone who comes. Fresh water constantly flows into it. Purpose works much the same way. When our gifts are shared, they continue growing. Perhaps your purpose is not asking, "What can I achieve?" Perhaps it is asking, "Whose life can I brighten today?" Sometimes purpose begins with something as simple as encouraging one person. Listening without judgment. Offering hope. Teaching what you've learned. Small acts of service create ripples far beyond what we can see. As these 5 practices become part of your life, you may notice something remarkable. You stop worrying about whether you've found your purpose. Instead, you begin living it. Not in dramatic moments, but in quiet choices made with intention, compassion, and love. In the final part of our journey, we'll explore 2 final practices that help us remain faithful to our purpose, experience a peaceful guided reflection beneath the ancient oak tree, and discover why the greatest purpose is not becoming famous, but becoming fully yourself while helping others do the same. We have traveled a long way together. The old carpenter taught us that purpose is not found by searching for perfection. It is shaped through patience, intention, and love. We discovered that purpose begins by listening to what brings our soul alive, trusting our own journey, following curiosity, transforming pain into wisdom, and serving something greater than ourselves. Now let us explore the final 2 practices that will help us live our purpose with courage and peace. The 6th practice. Trust the seasons of your life. One of the greatest reasons people lose hope is because they believe nothing is happening. I've tried. I've waited. I've prayed. Why hasn't my purpose appeared? Nature offers a beautiful answer. Imagine planting an apple seed. The next morning, you rush outside expecting a tree. There is nothing. A week passes. Still nothing. Months go by. The earth appears silent. But beneath the surface, life is quietly unfolding. Tiny roots stretch deeper into the soil. Strength develops where no one can see it. Only after those roots are strong enough does the tree begin reaching toward the sky. Many of us are living in the season of growing roots. It may feel as though everyone else is moving ahead while your life remains unchanged. But unseen growth is still growth. Every lesson, every disappointment, every act of perseverance, every quiet morning you chose hope instead of giving up. Those were roots. Do not mistake silence for failure. Some of life's greatest transformations happen where no one is watching. Trust the season you are in. The 7th practice, leave every place better than you found it. When people hear the word purpose, they often imagine changing the entire world. But purpose rarely begins on a global stage. It begins in ordinary moments. A smile offered to a stranger. Listening without interrupting. Helping someone carry a heavy burden. Encouraging a child. Forgiving someone who hurt you. Imagine walking through a forest after a storm. Branches cover the path. Flowers have been crushed. A traveler quietly clears the trail as they walk. They may never meet the people who come after them. Yet because of their kindness, others walk more easily. Purpose often looks exactly like that. Leaving the path a little better than you found it. Not because someone is watching, but because it reflects who you have chosen to become. Every act of compassion creates ripples far beyond what we can see. The world changes one heart at a time. Before we finish, I invite you to find a comfortable place to sit. Allow your shoulders to relax. Take a slow, deep breath in. And gently breathe out. Again. A peaceful breath in. A calming breath out. Now imagine yourself walking along a quiet path through an ancient forest. Golden sunlight filters through the leaves. Birds sing softly in the distance. The air is cool and fresh. As you continue walking, you arrive at a magnificent oak tree. Its branches stretch wide across the sky. Its roots disappear deep beneath the earth. You sit beneath its shade. The tree has stood here for hundreds of years. It has witnessed storms, droughts, winters, springs. Yet it remains steady, quiet, strong. Place your hand over your heart. Now ask yourself these questions. Not with your mind, but with your heart. What gifts have I been given? Pause. Who in my life could benefit from those gifts? Pause. What small step can I take today toward becoming the person I was created to be? Pause. There is no pressure. No perfect answer. Only honesty. Now imagine the great oak speaking to you. Its voice is gentle, patient, timeless. It says, do not hurry your journey. Strong roots take time. The smallest seed carries the greatest possibilities. Your purpose is already growing inside you. Take one final slow breath. As you breathe out, silently repeat, I trust my path. I choose to live with purpose. My life has meaning. Remain in this peaceful moment for just a few seconds. And when you're ready, return your awareness to the present. There is an old legend about a traveler who spent his entire life climbing mountains in search of a hidden temple said to contain the meaning of life. He crossed rivers, endured storms, walked through deserts, climbed the highest peaks. After many years, he finally reached the temple. An elderly monk greeted him with a warm smile. The traveler asked, I have searched my entire life. Please tell me, what is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? The monk handed him a small wooden bucket. Together, they walked to a nearby stream. The monk dipped the bucket into the flowing water and held it toward the traveler. Look. The traveler stared into the water. At first, he saw only ripples. But as the water became still, he saw his own reflection. Confused, he looked back at the monk. The monk smiled. You traveled across the world searching for your purpose. But the person you needed to discover was the one who has been walking beside you all along. The traveler finally understood. Purpose had never been hidden inside a distant temple. It had been quietly revealed through every act of kindness, every lesson learned, every hardship overcome, every person he had helped along the way. Sometimes the destination isn't where we discover purpose. Sometimes the journey itself becomes our purpose. As you continue your own journey, remember this. You do not need to change the entire world today. You simply need to make one meaningful choice. One act of compassion. One courageous step. One moment of presence. Day after day. Those small moments become a meaningful life. Thank you for sharing this mindful moment with me. If this reflection encouraged your heart, I invite you to subscribe to Mindful Moments, Discovering Inner Peace and Wisdom. Every week, we'll continue exploring timeless wisdom, mindfulness, compassion, and the quiet practices that help us live with greater peace, purpose, and joy. If someone came to your mind while listening, consider sharing this video with them. You never know when one story, one conversation, or one act of kindness may change someone's life forever. Until next time, walk with courage, live with intention, serve with love, and remember, purpose is not something waiting for you in the future. Purpose is created every day by the way you choose to live, love, and lift others. May your heart remain open. May your path become clear. May your gifts become a blessing to the world. And may every mindful moment lead you closer to the life you were always meant to live.